release on stage, screen, radio, TV, or cable, baby. This is an exclusive.
No? Michael Jai White is
Michael Jai White.
Absolutely legit. Michael Jai White broke the chain on the heavy bag at Legends Gym in Hollywood. He asked Eddie Bravo asked him to demonstrate the way he does a sidekick. This dude does a sidekick, a hopping sidekick, slams it into the bag goes ka-tink against the chain, and the chain snaps.
That's real?
100% real.
Welcome to the Dark Times channel. So let's go ahead and get into it. And so a few years back, Michael Jai White did an interview in which he was asked a specific question as it pertains to Bruce Lee.
All right, so now it's time for lightning round. I got some crazy questions for you. All right, here we go. These some real quick shots. All right, you ready? Bruce Lee would be no match for
me.
The person
You're saying you could beat Bruce Lee?
Really? Bruce Lee is 132 pounds. I outweigh him by 100 pounds.
The size
size matters, baby.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people looked at this interview as Michael Jai White being cocky or as if he was saying something that was just ridiculous. And just to be clear, this video is not to say that Bruce Lee couldn't win any fight against 99.9% of the general population. It's not what this video is about. You know, I grew up watching Bruce Lee and idolizing Bruce Lee to some degree, just like everybody else during their childhood. How could you not, with some of the cinema that we were watching? Some of the films that he made had never been seen before. You never saw anybody kick anybody and punch anybody with the speed and veracity in which he was able to do on screen. Not to mention the added sound effects. And so you combine all that, in your mind, you're talking about somebody that's unbeatable. And so anytime somebody says that they can beat up, you know, your hero, whether it be Muhammad Ali, whether it be Mike Tyson, or whatever the case may be, a lot of people are going to look at that a certain way, and they're going to feel a certain way about that. And anybody that's a high-level athlete and is highly skilled in anything, and you could take fighting out of it, you could take sports out of it. Anybody that's competitive and has trained at something and has worked at something, especially as long as Michael Jai White has. I believe Michael Jai White has been training since he was 7 years old. Several different black belts, several different styles of fighting. You're talking about somebody who has mastered several different skills and that they've actually won real competitions and real championships. A person like that is never going to concede that an actor / martial artist in Bruce Lee could beat them. And I actually think it would make Michael Jai White look pretty weak. Because now you're talking about fake humility. Somebody who's just saying something to please an audience. But no, Michael Jai White kept it real. And he hurt a lot of delusional fans in the process. You know, a lot of people in the so-called black community grew up idolizing martial arts and Bruce Lee in particular. And it was the so-called black man during the 70s and the 80s that really elevated Bruce Lee and his popularity.
That was the blue one.
I do not know, Master.
You do not know? Huh? Huh?
No. Only apologize for my ignorance, Master.
White cinema during that time were making a lot of derogatory films depicting Asians in negative light.
Once again, I must protest! If you don't stop with that pornographer, right this minute I'm going to go to the police department! Well, that's more better!
But it was the so-called black man that was rocking heavily with the Asian community. And so black people in general have a lot of respect for Asian culture, and we have a lot of respect for Bruce Lee. But it's asinine to think that Bruce Lee could ever beat Michael Jai White.
So I'm telling Michael Jai White all this at Legends, and then we walk up to the bag. He goes, I got a pretty good turning sidekick too.
Oh,
dude,
shit.
at Legends, this is a real story. He fucking just at Legends
does a turning sidekick, blows the bag off the chain from the ceiling.
Damn. He looks like a legit athlete. He's a giant guy.
Nice guy too, man. Really it was like a scene in a movie.
That's Michael Jai White.
Eddie Bravo's talking about kicking bags and shit. Michael Jai White walks up to this bag.
That's what I'm talking about.
He's literally the chain breaks and it goes flying.
And so for Michael Jai White to say that he could beat up Bruce Lee is not beyond the realm of possibility. It's actually quite probable that he would be able to beat up Bruce Lee quite easily in a real one-on-one fight. The majority of people that point to the fact that Bruce Lee could beat up almost anybody because of his speed. You're definitely going to be a lot faster on screen, especially when there's no fear of you actually getting hit back. If you're only 5'8", 120 pounds, you better be fast as lightning. Like I said, especially when there's no fear of you actually getting hit back. But when you're talking about a real fight and there's a real threat of violence, those kicks aren't going to be thrown at the same speed. Those punches aren't going to be thrown at the same speed. Because now you're thinking, you know, if this kick or this punch doesn't land perfectly, or it doesn't land flush, or if it doesn't knock him out, then there's a chance that he's going to counter this punch. You're talking about a 6'1", 225-pound trained martial artist hitting a 135-pound or 128-pound man square on the chin. That's going to be lights out for Bruce. And then a lot of people like to point to the fact that, you know, Michael Jai White is also an actor and he's not a real fighter. But that's not true. You're talking about an individual in Michael Jai White who's got several different black belts. And he's got over 26 different martial arts titles, including the US Open, the North American Open. He won the New England Grand Champion. So you're talking about major titles in different martial arts categories. And the same can't be said for Bruce Lee. He was not somebody that was ever tested, at least not something that we can actually reference. But once again, that's not to hold anything back from Bruce Lee, because I'm quite certain if he would have competed in a lot of these tournaments during his day, you know, I'm quite certain he would have been a champion in just about any different martial arts tournament that he would have taken place in as well. And let's just say Michael Jai White isn't even as skilled as Bruce Lee. Let's just go with that logic. Let's say Bruce Lee is more skilled and more talented than Michael Jai White. I'm not saying that's the case, but even if you go with that logic, all we have to do is point to some of these transgenders that are now entering women's sports. You know, a lot of these transgenders that are coming into some of these sports, whether it be UFC or boxing, are coming in with a lot less skill. But just based on their physical stature alone, I know a lot of these individuals are just winning on raw physical ability.
Uppercut. Now, Alana's just swinging for the fences to see if she catches her. Celine being the smart fighter, very technical, very skilled, and that's exactly what she's doing with that 1-2, which has been work. Big, heavy-set fighter, not as tall, and all he does is throw that over right hand to the big guys.
McLaughlin's got the back of Provost, and now it's dug in deep, and the tap. Alana McLaughlin victorious in her MMA debut.
So like I said, this is something that I wanted to chime in on because there's been a lot of different debate and a lot of discussion surrounding this topic. So, you know, so hopefully, you know, this can put an end to the debate once and for all, or who knows, it may spark up a whole nother debate. But either way, you know, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. And as usual, peace and chaos.